During my undergraduate degree, I was chair of the Early Childhood Studies Society, and through this we had many different people coming to talk to us. One person was a hospital play specialist. She explained what she did within the hospital and how she used toys to distract children going through operations. She then started talking about play therapy, making sure that people understood the difference. At this time, I'd never really heard about play therapy, so I decided to take a look into it. It seemed like the perfect job for me to follow through. I knew I always wanted to work with children, and at the time I thought I wanted to go into the child protection sector of the police, but actually this sounded so much better. So straight after uni, I felt very lucky and went on to the postgraduate certificate in the September following. I went straight through from certificate, overlapping to diploma, followed by my filial training. I then decided to go down the supervision journey. During this time, I was also working for a supervisor at the time, working within local primary schools. I then decided it was time for me to start my own business, and first approached a few local schools to where I was already working, and then was lucky enough to be approached by an extended services coordinator who had a trust of schools. She found funding within this trust to support play therapy across the local community in Oxfordshire. Sadly, years later, funding got cut, but 3 of these primary schools decided that actually they'd seen the real benefit and kept me going within their schools for a day a week. I worked there for many, many years until I moved locations only 2 years ago, where I'm now working in Rugby, doing 2 days private practice and 2 days in primary school. For me, it was just the kind of finding the right referrals at the very beginning of certificate. I was working in a local primary school supporting a child with special educational needs, and was trying to find children that fitted the criteria within the day-to-day work that I was doing, but also to manage those boundaries with the little boy I was working with and all the other children. However, once the school started to recognise it and understand what therapeutic play at the time was, it felt a lot easier to kind of get going with that. When I first began my journey, I very much thought it was just about me spending time with the child and the child alone. However, as the years have gone on and I've done more and more courses and worked with more and more families, I've realised actually it's that holistic way of working, and that's what I love. Not only working with the children, but working with the parents and also supporting the schools that the children are working in. For me, this is fundamental to make that child holistically happy and a whole world being. For me, it's where my love of puppets came from, and it was when I worked with a child who was a selective mute. For weeks and weeks and weeks, she said nothing to me in the space. She then found the voice in a puppet, first using what I can only describe as what I thought was a character voice, until weeks later she took the puppets off and used her own voice. I was seeing her at the time when she was in between year 1 and year 2. Fast forward a number of years later and she was in year 6 and I was still working in the school. I was lucky enough to go and see the production of the local play where she was seeing the starring role. I turned to a colleague next to me and said, I worked with her, she was a selective mute, and nobody could believe it. For me, I may have just been one part of her story, but I managed to give her the voice and the confidence to do that years later. For me, it felt like the next step. I'd been doing the course for a while, I'd been doing play therapy for a while, I'd been supervising many, many people, and course directing felt like the next step. I'd had my own children since then, so it was a bit of a challenge to decide, is this something that I wanted to do? But I decided to take the leap and I haven't looked back since. For me, it's when they see that magic moment. I love saying to people at the beginning that you won't be the same person at the end as you are on day one of certificate. And when I see that penny drop, when I see that magic happen, when I see those doors open, that for me is the magic of teaching. And it's why I love teaching from the very beginning. But I've also loved recently seeing the joy of students who've gone all the way through with me from certificate and then diploma and see their whole process. For me, I like the live stories really. I like being able to tell students up-to-date knowledge, and this has become even more apparent recently when I've been undertaking the online introduction days. Being able to say, today this happened, or last week I was working with a child. You'll always have those children that will stick in your mind, but for me it's the live experience, the live being able to say what I did and show students that it really does work and the magic really does happen. For me, it's just believing in the magic, trusting yourself and trusting the process from the very beginning. If you trust in your course director, trust in your supervisor and trust in yourself, the rest of the magic will just happen. For me, I love my job on a day-to-day basis. I love all the plates that I spin, but I also love the fact it's different every day. So even when I go and see the same children week on week, the children are very different. The referrals are very different. The time that they're going to be in the room is very different. So I never know what I'm walking into. And for me, this keeps this exciting. For me, it's just phenomenal. You see that child having that voice. You're able to give them something that they didn't have before, but you're also able to help a school understand the children's mental health. So as I said earlier, not only do I work with just that child, I love importing that knowledge into that whole holistic way of working. The thing I'm most proud of right now is the fact that recently I've opened a therapy centre where I'm able to offer low-cost therapy to families. This was the dream. This was the dream to have the building with other therapists within that, but also to have play therapy be access to everyone. So being set up as a community interest company allows families to be able to have access to play therapy at an 80% low cost. This allows it to be open to everyone, and that's something I'm really proud of. For me, the future, who knows where it will take. I love teaching, I love supervising, and I love both the schoolwork that I do and the private practice. I hope that the therapy centre continues to grow, we get some outdoor space and we explore that. But I also just like meeting different people on a day-to-day basis. Play therapy is fab. Everybody should have a chance to experience it.